All right, ladies and gentlemen, ways to simplify an image. So as you can see, I have written up here that I like to play video games. I have my Xbox, and I have one of my favorite video games, Rock Band. And I have drawn my detailed images of the two things that I'm using to represent playing video games. So I've drawn my Xbox controller, and I've drawn my Rock Band controller. So now it is time to turn it into a symbol, to simplify it. So let's start with the Xbox controller. Now, there are multiple ways to simplify an image. So I'm going to draw multiple symbols over here just so that you get the idea. When you simplify your image, you're only going to have to do it once. So the first, easiest way to simplify an image is to get rid of all the details. So if I just draw the shape of the controller, that would be a way to simplify it. I don't particularly like that idea, so we're going to try something else. Actually, let's erase and try something else. Now, another way to simplify an image is to zoom in. So if I say zoomed in to these 4 buttons, and I drew them, the A, B, X, Y. I'm sure I put those in the wrong spots, but you get the idea. So that it wasn't just the A button, because that wouldn't really make sense. But if I have those 4 buttons in their 4 colors, it's going to be very recognizable as the Xbox symbol. Okay? So one of the things as you are simplifying is you've got to make sure that it's still recognizable as your big idea. So if someone sees this, they think this. Now that still isn't my favorite idea, so I think I'm going to do one more time and I'm going to try a different button. So instead, I think I'm going to draw the power button, which has that kind of X on it. It's round. I kind of like that shape. So I have simplified my Xbox controller by zooming in to one button that's very recognizable as the Xbox symbol. Okay, does that make sense, everyone? Any questions? Okay, so now let's move on to the second one. Now, if I do that the same way that I started with this one, and the first way I go to simplify is I say I am just going to draw the outline. What happens to my guitar controller? You're right, it becomes a guitar, which really doesn't symbolize playing video games, it symbolizes playing music. Though I like music, it's not really one of the 3 big ideas about me, so I need to get rid of it. So now, this is something that I see a lot of when people are working. So, what if I went from a Rock Band controller to a pair of drumsticks? What happened? This is what I call apples and oranges. Are apples and oranges both fruit? Yes, apples and oranges are both fruit, but they're not the same fruit. When you are doing this thing, this is one idea going all the way through. What happened? I changed ideas midstream. You don't want to have apples and oranges. Now, the way to solve apples and oranges is to pick one. If you really like the idea of orange, then you got to go back and change apple. If you really like the idea of apple, you've got to change orange. Now, since this really doesn't symbolize playing video games, I'm going to go back to my original idea and stick with my apple, or stick with my Rock Band controller. So, my next thought is, what is it that really makes this identifiable? What is the thing that makes it so that it is a Rock Band controller and it is not a guitar? So the idea that I went with is I decided to draw the fret with all those 5 colored buttons. And when these are the 5 Rock Band button colors, it's going to be very recognizable as the Rock Band symbol. So, What you need to do is you need to do the same thing to all three of your big ideas. You need to take your drawn version and figure out whether you're going to zoom in, whether you're going to get rid of all the details, whether you're going to zoom into a detail, whether you're going to, and making sure that you don't change ideas from apples to oranges. So keep your ideas straightened, going all the way through. Make sure your simplified versions are identifiable. So you need to complete all three sections and then bring your worksheet to Ms. Chesser to be checked.